Good evening. My name is Alex Bancila. I'm here at the Lake Forest Club in Lake Forest, Illinois with the legendary Flip Goodspeed of the Flip Goodspeed Scott Mansiger fame. They won 8 nationals between 1996 and 2009. A mind-boggling stat. How is that possible? We can't really wrap our heads around it.
Well, I mean, for one, we've played together for 20 years, so I mean, we know each other's game very well. I think paddle is a game of errors. The way we play the sport, we're not prone to a lot of errors. We take a lot of high percentage shots, so we can adjust our games to no matter who we're playing during a match or before a match, which I think gives us an advantage as well. And I think all those things together and the confidence knowing that we can win is huge in this game. And also, I think our opponents, when they play us, they probably maybe were a little intimidated, maybe thought maybe they couldn't win. I think that gives us an advantage as well.
You're from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yes.
No disrespect to your practice partners, but there's nobody of your caliber there. How do you achieve greatness when you're always playing down?
Well, it definitely is challenging. In Grand Rapids, we have 5 paddle courts. And for a while, 2 of them didn't even have heaters, so you had to salt the courts before you could chip away the ice just to play. So that is intriguing in by itself. The guys I play in Grand Rapids, they're solid players. I mean, they have all the shots. They just don't have the power, the consistency, the spins that you see from you and the best in the game. So a lot of times I go to a tournament and I need to play a couple rounds to kind of get used to the speed, because it is so much faster. And hopefully I can get 2 rounds in and not be upset and get into the flow of the tournament.
Flip beats you with his smarts, and he beats you by virtue of having no weaknesses. There's absolutely no weakness in his game. And when you put him next to Scott Mansiger, who's a machine and a mental giant, they become virtually unbreakable. And you have been for so many years. Would you say that the fact that you are from Grand Rapids, yes, you have practice partners, but let's face it, nobody of your caliber. Would you say that for your standards, not for anybody else's, having won only 2 charities has something to do with that, because the charities is the first tournament in the season?
Definitely. I mean, I think I've only won the charities once, actually.
Scott claims you won it twice.
Oh, really? Oh, I think it was maybe once. But yeah, I mean, I am so active in so many different sports, you know, from tennis to biking to, I mean, you name it. I'm doing lots of different things. So I don't really play paddle till maybe the end of October. So I try and do a little cramming for charities. I'll play a couple times, and then again try and get into the speed of the game. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that have already played in 2 tournaments that are playing their A game right off the bat, and that makes it very difficult for me in charities.
Of all your accomplishments, what's the closest one to your heart?
Oh man, there are a lot. I mean, I've been playing the sport for 27 years. I mean, obviously, I never thought I could win a national championship.
Is that really true? I mean, like, even after all the success you've had, is it like, okay, you win the first one, and maybe you don't expect to win the first one, but then you won 7 more. It's the expectation is there.
Yeah, I mean, once you win a national championship or you do something special and you gain that confidence knowing you can do it, I mean, that's a huge hurdle. I mean, for many years, my first partner, Fitz Valentine, and I, we get to the quarters of the nationals, and that's as far as we could get. And didn't even really get, well, maybe we went 3 sets with Baird Mayer back in whatever year that was, 89 or 90 in Chicago. But I mean, until you actually do it, it's hard to have the confidence that you can do it. And the fact that you can beat 5 amazing teams to do it it's special, and it gives you that confidence. So once we did it, obviously we got the confidence, and then I think what kind of validated it was in '97 in Pittsburgh. I actually wasn't even going to play because my wife was expecting our 2nd child, and she convinced me to go since we were the defending champs, and I actually carried a beeper on the court. And again, I wasn't mentally prepared to play because, you know, I was expecting this child, but I went and I was really rusty, and we fought off 4 match points in the semis, down 5-1, and beat Conklin and Kenny. And then in the finals, we had 2 match points against us with Zink and Stipa.
Was that the 15-13 in the third?
Yeah, 14-12.
There you go.
And I mean, it was crazy. I had never thought I would be back there, and that kind of validated it for us. And then after that, it was, we had so much confidence, and again, we peaked at the right time and rallied off 6 more.
Unfortunately for me, one of them at my expense. And again, I'm crowbarring myself into the conversation, but going back to the type of person that Flip is, we had, a 2-hour and 45-minute battle that was probably the most devastating loss in my life, because I really thought Brad Easterbrook and I played as well as we can play that match. And I didn't think you guys did. I don't think you played your best, and you still beat us. And you could probably see that I was devastated. And probably an hour after the match, you called me, and I'll never forget that. And I'm not gonna. This is not the time and place to tell people what he told me, but that meant a lot to me. And to this day, every time I see you, whether we play against each other on the court, yes, you're my adversary, but you're one of the guys that I most respect in the sport. For what you've accomplished on the court, but also for the type of guy that you are off the court. Tell us a little bit about your tennis background, please.
Well, that's actually kind of interesting because, I was a good, solid high school player. I didn't actually like playing the tournaments in the summer. I actually quit when I was 13 just because I didn't really like tennis players and their parents. I didn't enjoy the tournaments, so I quit. But then I played high school tennis for a real good high school team in Grand Rapids, and we won the state, 3 out of 4 years, and it was a great experience. And I actually went to college thinking I was going to play golf. I was recruited pretty hard to play golf, and I decided to go to a Division III school, Denison, and I was talked into playing in the freshman tournament, and I ended up winning the tournament, and they invited me to play on the team, and I had 4 great years at an incredible Division III program that we were always in the top 10, 15 in the country every year, and I would never give that up. It was just spectacular.
What's your view on the current state of the game?
I actually am very positive on the sport and where it's going for a number of reasons. Number one, the exposure, the media, the live scoring, people being able to watch the sport from afar. I think the sport is growing in that aspect, which is phenomenal. There are a lot of paddle pros, including yourself and Parsons and Mark Fischel, that are really promoting the sport, which I think is phenomenal. I think also the technology in the rackets now has really improved the game in terms of people are able to hit the ball a lot harder with more spin to keep it in, and I think that's brought on a lot more of the tennis players. A lot of tennis players in the past got frustrated with the sport, I think, and because it was a little slower, a little more lobbying and that type of program. But now with the ball moving faster, I think a lot more tennis players are getting into the game. I mean, Jared Palmer, one of the best tennis players in the world, is now dominating the game this year, which is phenomenal. So I think it's growing in the right direction, and the tournaments are becoming deeper and harder.
What are your thoughts on you and Scott Mansiger splitting up? You knew that was coming, right?
Yeah.
And now that both of you are playing with younger guys, you have your partner here, if you can zoom into that good-looking gentleman right there, Rob Bacher. And Scott is playing with Chris Struck. So what are your thoughts on the split and on playing with significantly younger partners?
Well, I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with change. I am a very loyal guy. I've had 3 partners in 27 years. I played with Fritz Valentine for 4 years, Scott for 20, and now Rob Bacher and I are, this is our 2nd year. And it was a very friendly split. I'm married, I have 2 kids, and the kids were very involved, and Scott is single, and he's a paddle tennis professional in Chicago at a great market. And I kind of lost a little bit of the pizzazz, and I approached Scott and I said, you know, why don't you, I'm going to take a year off, why don't you grab a partner that you can practice with, because he loves to practice, and I think it'd be good for both of us. And I didn't know I was going to come back, and then I took the year off, and I kind of got the bug to play again, and then a young guy asked me to play, Rob Bacher, and I
He had the nerve to ask you to play with him?
He did have the nerve. Yeah.
I come every year to Cincinnati.
Yeah, we've messed around in Cincinnati because that's where my in-laws
Because you
are.
got ties there, right?
Right.
And that's also happens to be your most successful tournament, right? Didn't you guys win it like 14 times in a row or something?
I've won it 16 times.
Oh, so sorry, I was way off.
But not in a row. I have a different partner.
With the beating that the body takes on the court, how have you been able to compete at the highest level for as long as you have?
Well, that's a very good question. But I mean, number one, I'm not a paddle or tennis pro, so I don't spend my days on the court with a grind, and I think that helps. I only typically play four tournaments a year, so I kind of pick my spots. So I'm not doing the grind of 10 tournaments. So I feel fresh, and I'm not hurting my body. And then at home, I probably play once a week, maybe sometimes twice a week. So I don't have that grind, and again, playing from end of October through the Nationals is probably my duration of my season. So I think that helps me, and I think I'm pretty fit. I stay in shape, doing a lot of biking and a lot of different exercise, which I think you have to do to maintain your fitness in the sport. And you know, personally, when I go out on the court, I feel like I'm in better shape than most of the people I'm playing against anyway. So
and you probably
that
are.
helps.
What was the big breakthrough, mental or otherwise, that took your game and results to the next level?
Well, I think I can tell you almost the exact match, because again, I think it comes down to the confidence of knowing you can win a match or win a tournament. And this was back in I want to say it was either 94 or 95 in Short Hills. Again, Scott and I had just started playing together, and we've had some decent successes, but not huge wins. And we beat Grunberg and Williams, I think, in the semis when they were in their prime, and we played great. And then we went on to win that tournament. And I think that was, again, that launching pad, knowing that you can beat anybody any given day.
Thank you so much. Alex Bancila with the legendary Flip Goodspeed. We're at the Lake Forest Club in Lake Forest, Illinois. I want to thank our sponsors, Viking Athletics, Corona Light, and also Court Irish for all his help for these 2 weeks. Again, Flip, thank you so much.
Thanks,
it's been
Alex.
an honor.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.